Welcome to Global Rhythms Live, world music and dance digital concert series presented by Ensemble Topaz.
Hi, everyone. It's with great joy that we welcome you to the 19th edition of Global Rhythms Live World Music and Dance Digital Concert. I'm Parmita Kaur, co-artistic director and choreographer of Ensemble Topaz, a Toronto-based integrated music and dance ensemble. And it's my great joy and honor, along with Mike Anklewitz, to present to you this week's edition of Global Rhythms Live. Each week, we feature different artists performing different genres of world music, dance, and performance traditions from around the world. We're back from Thunder Bay in Northern Ontario, where we performed at the Festival of India and Festival of Colours last weekend. And we're happy to be back with this special edition of Global Rhythms Live. This week, we have a very special edition of Global Rhythms, featuring Alberta-based Métis fiddler Alex Kusturok's music, friends, and heroes. This special edition of Global Rhythms Live is sponsored by the Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Music at the University of Alberta, Lethbridge. Joining me in Studio Topaz is Mike Anklewitz, musician, composer, and music director for Ensemble Topaz, as well as several other music projects. And he is also faculty member of the Royal Conservatory of Music in Toronto. He's also our managing technical director for Global Rhythms Live.
Thank you, Parmita, and thank you, all of you out there joining us today. As you'll hear Alex talk about, artists all over the world have been turning to digital platforms to keep their music live and keep performing their music. We're so pleased to be able to offer this concert series for musicians and dancers to be able to continue to keep their art moving forward. Sometimes we have exciting collaborations with artists that we might not normally work with, and sometimes we can experiment with our standard forms and really take our art to the next level. We also started this series to be able to share a bit about the artistic journeys of these incredible artists that we're honored to present. And this special edition is dedicated to Alex Kusturok's music, friends, and heroes, and is made possible by the Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Music at the University of Lethbridge in Alberta. We extend a special thank you to Monique Giroux, who holds that position and was particularly instrumental in making this special program possible. And now a few words about our featured artist, Alex Kusturok. Alex Kusturok is a celebrated performer, instructor, and competition judge across Canada. Alex has a blend of styles in his music, and he is greatly influenced by the Québécois and Cape Breton fiddle styles. However, the Métis style remains at the forefront of his playing. Growing up, Alex followed his mother, Patty, to the old-time dances around Manitoba, where he was enriched with the Métis fiddle tradition from a very young age. By the age of 7, the passion for music became apparent, and fiddle became the focus of Alex's life. His father, a Treaty Indian from Wabigoon Lake First Nation in Ontario, made sure that Alex learned of his Aboriginal heritage, which transferred into his music and gave him a set of values in which he lives his life. Between his mother's fiddle and his father's guitar, there's no question that Alex would take to the music and continue to pass on the tradition. Throughout his musical career, Alex was active in the Canadian competition circuit, ranking high at the national and provincial levels. He has won provincial championship titles in Manitoba, BC, and Alberta, and was the 2013 Grand North American Fiddle Champion. Today, Alex is a busy performer and works as an instructor on Métis settlements and reserves in northern Alberta. He is passionate about passing along the culture as well as the music that he grew up studying. Alex has released 4 independent albums: Groove from 2009, For Old Time's Sake in 2014, Almost Live in 2017, and Phoenix in 2020. We'll be presenting a short interview with Alex where he talks a little bit about the context of his music, and then the full video of Alex Kusturok's music, friends, and heroes. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a very special edition of Global Rhythms. We're joined by Alex Kusturok, coming to us from Cold Lake, Alberta. Thanks so much for joining us, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so we want to just talk about the music that you're going to play. Obviously, this is a very special format for our show this week. You've put together a really amazing video with music by yourself, by your heroes and other folk pieces from the Métis fiddling tradition. And so we wanted to start with this interview and let the people watching know a little bit more about who you are, where you're coming from, and what your Métis identity means to you. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe maybe the Métis identity and how fiddling, what that means to you as a part of that?
Right. So I grew up in Manitoba, which is kind of the heart of the Métis fiddle, where the jig, was kind of invented. And over the years, I was exposed to a whole bunch of different styles of fiddling, from Scottish to Irish tunes to Canadian old time tunes. And, a lot of these players that I have with me on this show, they're not necessarily Métis players, but they're masters at their style that they play. Me being a Métis fiddle player and growing up in that, there's a certain rhythm, there's a certain groove to the violin, and that feel is so unique to the culture, the fiddle and the jig. It's very rhythmic, like I said, but there's also a lot of heart, and the music it's made for dancing, really, and when I'm playing these different styles, sometimes people laugh at me because I'm playing a Scottish tune or an Irish slip jig, with that Métis attack, with that go for it. So I mean, it's that style of playing is, for sure at the forefront of what I do. And, with that style, it's so connected to culture, like I've, when it comes to playing for dance, it's natural for me because I grew up, heading to the dances, and I touch on in this show, I play a tune with my mom. I learned how to dance and I learned how to jig before I could play fiddle. So, I mean, when I finally picked up the fiddle, it just came naturally, because I know how it should sound for the dance. I know how it should sound, to make the dancers feel good.
Well, that's a really interesting point that you bring up, Alex, because I've done this in klezmer music where I've played for dancing, and I've personally found that it's a different way of approaching, and it gives you a really different way of understanding the way to play. And Parmita, being a dancer, she has that feeling, and I know that she has certain ways that people should be playing things when they are for dancing. What do you think about, and do you coach people on playing for dancing any differently than you would maybe to play for, just a concert?
I strongly believe that if you're hired to play for a dance, you're there for them, so the music that you play, it should complement, and it should, drive the dancers to go. If the music is flat, if there's no life to it, and you're hired to play for the dance, why are you there? When I play for a dance, my eyes the whole night are glued on that floor, because if they're not having fun and the music isn't making them feel good, I'm not doing my job.
So you mentioned, I mean, that you're Métis, and what can you tell us about the Métis? Maybe even a little bit about the history and what the word means, because some of our viewers may not be aware of this really unique group of Indigenous people in Canada.
Right. Well, the word Métis in itself, it means half breed. So being from Manitoba, my dad is Ojibwe from Ontario, and my mom is Ukrainian. So you have the white man, and you have the native people, and the French as well, and you mix that together, and that's the Métis. In Manitoba, where I'm from, there's the Assiniboine River and the Red River where they meet, And that's, you know, where the Red River Jig was made, and it's fascinating.
Great, thank you. And so, what could you tell us, not just about the projects you have going, but also what you're doing in this COVID time and how you're dealing with the same limitations that artists all over the world are also.
So before this hit, I was teaching fiddle at 2 Métis settlement schools and a reserve school right up the road in Alberta. And, you know, like many of you know, like a drop of a hat, all the schools were canceled. I was playing in different events every weekend, you know, and that just stopped. But, you know, I saw some people doing Facebook Live shows, you know, with the tip jar. I was lucky enough right before this all hit to have laid down the fiddle tracks for a new album. So from March until June, mixing and mastering the new album, you know, kind of kept me inspired musically. And I've done a few Facebook Live shows. When I released the record, I went up and I played with the boys that were playing on it. I played a live show, and you know, we're all trying to think of different ways, you know, to keep the people entertained so they don't get bored, you know. So when I was asked to do this show, I thought, you know, here's Alex sitting down with a guitar player playing the fiddle and feet. I've done that a whole bunch, right? No one wants to see that anymore. So I thought, what can I do that's different? What can I do that's special? And you know, I thought it'd be beautiful to do a music friends and heroes show. And you know, I was blessed that all of the people that I asked, you know, said that they would love to be a part of it. So this is a special show for me, you know, playing with the players that I looked up to, and that I still look up to, and you know, some new friends that I've made as well.
And can you tell anybody watching how they can get this new album of yours?
AlexKusturok.com, and you visit the store. You can purchase the instant download, or you can purchase the physical copy that I will drop in the mail for you.
We're really looking forward to sharing this video, and we hope everybody will see it. It's Alex Kusturok, Music, Friends, and Heroes.
Hello there, and welcome to Alex Kusturok's Music, Friends, and Heroes performance. Huge thanks to Manik Sharu for asking me to put this together. Huge thanks to Mike Ankowitz for letting us use his platform and for having us be a part of his concert series. What you're going to see in this show is my music heroes and friends, people that have inspired me musically and as people as well. We have players from Scotland, from Manitoba, from BC, from Ontario, and right up the road in Alberta, where I'm from. This has been, you know, a tough go with the pandemic, but you know, things like this and connecting with friends and doing work like this, you know, it's very inspiring. So I hope you all enjoy this show as much as I did making it, and sit back, relax, we're gonna have some fun. And a huge thanks to Tim Turret for laying down the solid, hard drive and guitar backup. He produced my last album, Phoenix, and I'm very honored to have him a part of this, and I'm honored to have him as a friend as well. So sit back and enjoy.
1, 2, 3.
my first guest that I'm thrilled to announce and thrilled is a part of this show is a lady from Ottawa by the name of Cheryl Fitzpatrick. Moving around a lot as a kid, my mom put me with different fiddle instructors. My mom plays fiddle, but it doesn't really work to teach your own kid. I learn a lot from my mom, now. But back then, she put me with all these different players, and so I could learn as much as possible. Cheryl is probably one of the most patient, humble, knowledgeable teachers that I think I've ever met. Her ability to break down the tunes and to break down exactly what's going on in the tunes and how to play that and how to get that result is absolutely mind-blowing. I had the honor of being her student for I'd say about 3 or 4 years, and her patience with me and her ability to build my self-confidence as a player was absolutely heartwarming, and I appreciate that still to this day. So she's joined me on a couple numbers. The first tune is a tune that she taught me, and it's a hornpipe. It's called the Donegal hornpipe, or the Galloway hornpipe, I believe it's called. And then we swing into an Irish piece that she taught me as well, called the Father Kellys. So, ladies and gentlemen, Cheryl Fitzpatrick.
1, 2, 3, go.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. That was a lot of fun. Our next fiddler comes from richer Manitoba, and I met this fella competing in the fiddle contests when we were kids. Across Canada, they have fiddle contests where a bunch of players, old and young, go and compete, and it's not even about the competition. It's about making friends and seeing these friends during the contest season each year, and you really, really look forward to it. Michael is a great fiddle player. He works as a paramedic, and I'm honored to have him a part of this project. Michael Odette.
1, 2, 3.
I think it's time to slow it down and play a piece of music that I wrote with my mother Patty, called The Memories of Eva. This tune was written for my grandmother, her mother, and she was the biggest supporter of Canadian fiddle. At all the contests that I talked about and the dances, she was the first one out on the dance floor, and she was the last one to leave once the hall closed. There wasn't a dance that she would miss, and I grew up, she would bring me to all the dances that my mom was playing at, and she taught me how to dance before I could play the fiddle. She is greatly missed. She was a huge member of the music community, and to play this tune with me is my mother Patty from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and then we're going to swing in to a couple reels, and again we have Tim on guitar. Hope you enjoy it. Here's Patty.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
When the pandemic hit, we were forced to go virtual with a lot of things. A lot of musicians, including myself, we went from playing every weekend and teaching music and, being out in the community every weekend, traveling around, playing, and at a drop of a hat, that all changed. And people started to post videos online, virtual shows like we're doing now. And in the midst of that, I came across a young fiddle player from Scotland by the name of Arthur Coates. And he plays like a Quebec fiddle player, lots of drive, lots of rhythm. And I'm honored to have him a part of this project as well. If there's anything positive that came from this pandemic, it's connecting with people from around the world and building these friendships and being able to have tunes together. So here's Arthur Coates.
1, 2, 3.
Another thing that came from the pandemic has been a new record. I laid down the fiddle tracks for this right before everything started. Like I went up to Fort Mac, I went up to Tim's place, I laid down the fiddle tracks, and then I came home expecting to go to work on Monday, and everything was shut down. So Tim had said to me, I have this guy who's going to mix it, master it. His name is Devin Benoit. I went, okay, sure. So he started to send me tunes, and the power in the record was just, I was not expecting it. I was blown away, you know, and he's a master at what he does, mixing, mastering, engineering, but he's also a great musician too, and more importantly, a great guy. He plays drums, guitar, bass. His dad is a great traditional accordion player from Newfoundland, so he's agreed to be a part of this project, and super happy to have him on board, and super happy to produce a record with him, Mr. Devin Benoit.
1, 2, 3.
We're going to slow things down one more time before the end of the show. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. We're going to slow things down with a nice slow air from Cape Breton. And to play that for you is Tim Turret. He's been the guy driving the guitar for most of the players in this show, and I'm so honored to have him on board, and I'm so honored to be playing music with him. You know, it's no one has a drive like Tim. You know, I heard him first playing on a video, and the feel that he gives the fiddle player with his backup is just unreal. And when I sat down to play with him for the first time, you know, it's like riding a cloud playing with Tim. He produced my new album. He played guitar on the new album. We have a couple gigs coming up, a couple of taping things, and I'm just honored to have this guy in my corner, honored to have him as a friend, honored to play music with him. He's a great guy. Tim Turret. I lived in the Ottawa Valley for 5 years, and when I was there, I competed in the fiddle contests every summer, and they used to have them every single weekend, so that was your summer. You know, you would travel around, see your friends, practice your tunes, you know, be ready for the contests. When I was there, I didn't make the top 10 in the 18 and under, but somebody who did was a fellow by the name of Ben Roots. He's a great player. He plays with so much power, and he's one of the most humble, down-to-earth people that I think I've ever met. I remember being in Pembroke one year, and in the back room he was helping this little kid in the 9 and under class with their tunes, and he is the fiddle player for country star Johnny Reed, and he has a certain feel to his music that I try to emulate still to this day. So I'm honored that Ben is having a tune with me today. Ben Roots.
1, 2.
Another beautiful thing about Canadian fiddle music culture that we have are fiddle camps. And what fiddle camps are there about a week long, and they're these camps that happen across Canada, and they fly in probably the top instructors at what they do, and for a week you get to hang out with them and learn from them. And for an entire week you're surrounded by dance, by music, and you're just a part of the culture. When I was a kid, I went to the Emma Lake Fiddle Camp with my mom Patty, and those were the days, before cell phones. I believe they had a payphone there that we all had to wait in line for to use if we wanted to call home. So you were forced, to just be around it, immerse yourself in it, and to hang out with friends and these players. They had concerts each night, and one of the instructors was a fellow by the name of Calvin Vollrath. I call him the godfather of Canadian fiddle. He's composed hundreds of tunes. He's released his 70th album this year. He composed the tunes for the opening ceremonies for the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. And he's also a great golfer. He's shot 3 holes in ones. Not very many people can say that. So I'm honored to have Calvin joining me on probably his most popular tune, the Smokin' Bow Reel. Thanks for having a tune with me, Calvin.
1, 2, 3.
Our last guest of the afternoon is probably my biggest musical influence, my biggest musical hero, and this is a fellow by the name of Mark Sullivan. Mark is originally from Bowmanville, Ontario, and he's living in Abbotsford now with his wife Lila and 2 kids. Mark is one of those players that was competing in the open class when I was a kid in Ontario, and you could guarantee that whatever Mark selected to play, a lot of the kids would be playing those exact same numbers the following contest season. I had the opportunity to hang out with Mark a lot when I lived in BC, and we judged a couple contests together, and I'm honored to have Mark playing a tune with me on this project. We're going to play 2 old-time tunes. The first tune called Speed the Plow, then swing into an old tune called the Cease McEachran's. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Mark.
1, 2, 3, go.
That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed my music friends and heroes performance. I'd like to thank Nick Giroux for asking me to do this. I'd like to thank the University of Lethbridge, Mike Ankowitz for having us do this on your platform, part of your concert series. I would like to thank all of the players that took time out of their day to have a tune with me. You guys all sounded so good, and it was an honor to have a tune with each and every one of you. I'd like to thank Tim Turret for playing such an amazing guitar throughout this whole show. Not one person, when they sent a video back to me, didn't comment on what a great guitar player you are. Again, I am truly honored to have you a part of this project and honored to be doing some shows with you. Lastly, please take care. Please support your musicians by watching their shows, and I hope we can get through this soon. Thank you so much again for watching. Have a great day. God bless.
Thank you so much to Alex Kusturok. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of breathless from all that exciting music.
That's fantastic.
So as you saw, the last panel was Alex just asking you to check out not only his website at alexkusturok.com, but all of the other fiddlers. Go to their websites, go buy their music, because that's really one of the best ways that you can support artists right now is buy their work. Don't just listen to it, but really, buy it. Make sure that they're getting the money for the work that they're putting in, because it is so much work to put together a CD, to put together a show. So please head to the website, go buy the CD, download it, have the original, the actual physical copy of the CD, and really help these artists get through this time, but also make more music and make more of their art. We want to thank all of you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed today's edition of Global Rhythms World Music and Dance Digital Concert. You can always watch previous editions of Global Rhythms at our Facebook site. Just check out the videos tab of the Ensemble Topaz Facebook page, and you'll be able to see all of our archived videos of each of our shows. And this was the 19th that we've done, so there's lots of amazing world music and dance from everywhere, from all over Canada, from the United States, and of course from all over the world. And so thank you so much for joining us. You can support our show by making a donation to ensemble.topaz@gmail.com. You can send any donation through e-transfer, or if you're not in Canada, you can use PayPal as well. That's ensemble.topaz@gmail.com. In the coming weeks, we're going to continue to feature artists from all over the world performing traditional and innovative artistic material. Please stay updated by following our Facebook page as well as our Instagram, which is @Ensemble Topaz. And you can also follow us on YouTube and subscribe to that channel as well. You'll find the links to the wonderful artists like Alex and alexkusturok.com. And we thank you in joining us in this journey today, and we hope that you will join us again in the future.